Welcome to Car and Driver. Now, if you live in a snowy climate, you might have heard of the all-weather tire that's becoming more popular over the past few years. Now, don't confuse these with all seasons. What separates an all-weather tire is that they have more winter capability. In fact, they carry the three-peak mountain snowflake badge that Quebec and some parts of Europe require your tires to have in winter months. But these tires are also meant to be used year-round, so in theory, you only ever need one set of tires. The conflict here is that tires are all about compromises. You typically don't get great amounts of snow grip, for example, without sacrificing wet weather grip. So the question is, how well do these tires work given their exceptionally broad range of responsibilities? Now, to find out, we gathered 5 examples to test and evaluate in the dry, wet, and snow. We also enlisted the help from the experts over at Tire Rack, including their testing manager, TJ Campbell, and their facility in South Bend, Indiana. There, we performed dry and wet weather testing and evaluation in the fall. And come winter, we headed up north to the Keweenaw Research Center in Michigan's very cold Upper Peninsula. And the snow on the ground there is meticulously maintained for tire testing by a crew of 24 people who work around the clock. Along with all this, we also brought winter and summer reference tires to illustrate the differences in performance between them and the all-weather tires. As for testing, we evaluated feel, handling, lateral acceleration, and braking on the dry, wet, and snowy surfaces, as well as road noise on dry pavement and acceleration in the snow. Price and warranty also factored into our scoring. The Nokian Remedy WRG5 came in 5th place. What brought it down? Well, the 60-mile-an-hour wet stopping distance was nearly 25 feet longer than the best performer. There was also more oversteer on the wet autocross and slalom. On the plus side, these tires have the best warranty, 60,000 miles with no age limit. Second, this is a strong performer on dry pavement and in the snow. It worked as hard as the top performing tires in the test to fight understeer, and it was secure and easy to control. Now, the snow braking distance was only about 4 feet behind the best performers, and its top speed was the highest around the frozen track. Before we start, the Goodyear Assurance WeatherReady is about to be replaced by the Assurance WeatherReady 2, but those tires weren't available in time for this test, and hey, winter only comes once a year and we didn't want to postpone. Now, these tires did well on the dry autocross skid pad and in braking, and they were above average in the wet, but their performance in the snow didn't impress. To put it simply, it was exhausting keeping our test car pointed straight. The quick countersteering needed to avoid an unrecoverable slide was a workout. These tires also finished last in snow braking, which we argue is the most important metric for crash avoidance. So overall, an above average performer in the dry and sure-footed in the wet, but in the snow, the braking performance isn't much better than the all-season control tire we had. Now, the WeatherPeak led the pack at the cold weather proving ground. It had the quickest acceleration, fastest snow autocross time, and the shortest stop from 30 miles an hour. Where the tires fall off is where things get warmer. The difference in the braking distance in the dry versus the best performer exceeds a car length. And this tire tied for the slowest around the dry autocross. These tires have a squishy tread that can make the ride more comfy, but they also have more squirm, and that led to an annoying tendency to make the car wander and tramline on the freeway. On the flip side, these tires were the quietest, measuring 65 decibels in the cabin at 70 miles an hour. The WeatherPeak comes closest to the performance of a dedicated winter tire, but it needs to be better in all the other seasons to really nail the all-weather part of the brief. The Michelin CrossClimate2 might be 5 years old, but it continues to offer a great balance of dry, wet, and snow performance. It finished at the top of the wet tests and was responsive to steering, braking, and acceleration inputs, and its wet traction resulted in less understeer. Now that all changed in the dry. There, the CrossClimate2 really wants to understeer, even if you drive carefully. It reacted as firmly as the all-season control tire to big impacts and felt jumpy over anything bigger than small surface imperfections. It's also loud on smooth surfaces. Now, although the Michelin's only win during snow testing was on the 300-foot skid pad, it was arguably the most fun to drive around the snow course. It excelled during braking with lots of longitudinal grip that gives confidence when driving at higher speeds. The Pirelli's results on dry pavement made it a clear winner despite stopping longer than the CrossClimate2. Not only is there a grip advantage, but the Pirelli was easy to manage around the autocross track, offering the most responsive and direct steering feel of the group, returning precise reactions to inputs. The very best on pavement, the Pirelli only trailed the very best in snow acceleration by 0.6 of a second, and it was a close second to the top performer in the wet. It rides well too, soaking up bad roads without emitting loud slaps and smacks. Now, the Pirelli wins because an all-weather tire shouldn't make the driver suffer during the most common driving conditions. After all, even during the winter months, there are a lot of days where the roads are dry. Now, if you can easily store and swap wheels and tires, should you get all-weather tires? No. As accomplished as the top finishers are in doing everything well, we maintain that there's no replacement for dedicated summer and winter tires. Just look at our results. The dedicated summer and winter tires were standout performers in their respective seasons. And yeah, while you have to buy an extra set of tires, you get to split your annual mileage across 2 different sets of tires, effectively, lengthening their lifespan. So if you can, get dedicated winter tires. If you can't, consider a set from our top 2 finishers.